Hello YouTube and welcome to Bubble Hearthing. I'm Channel Blue 13 and I'm going to be reviewing the neutral cards, the neutral minions I guess, because there's no neutral spells. One day there will be. For the Boomsday project, dropping very soon in the next day or two, depending on when I upload this. There's a lot of them. I am kind of tired, which is one of the reasons why I say goodnight at the end of my videos. So let's just go through this real quick and I can go to sleep. Alright, cool. Faithful Lumi. This is the cutest mech that we have in the set. Super adorable. It made me really sad in the reveal thingy where they squashed him. But he's not squashed right here. He's okay. I'm gonna put my hands here. He's not squashed. But the screen's over there. Alright, 1 mana, 1/1 battle cry, give a friendly mech +1/+1, and it is a mech. Okay. So it's a nice little buff. I don't think it's gonna see any play. But I think it's a nice little guy. Just to throw in the set. 1 mana Goblin Bomb, 0/2 mech. Death Rattle, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. This card is terrible. I like it when it is produced by other cards. Don't get me wrong. I think it's fantastic when other cards make it, but I would never put this in my deck. No, absolutely not. Moving on. 1 mana Mecharoo. It's a 1/1 mech. Death Rattle, summon a 1/1 Joey bot. And hey, here's Joey right here. It's also a 1/1 mech. This is cool. I can even see this being run in Zoo, to be honest. It's very similar to Possessed Villager, which a lot of Zoo decks did run. I mean, this is great. You get 2 mechs that are kind of sticky. You know, this one dies, you get this one out there. And it's pretty reliable to have something to magnetize if you really want to. Otherwise, it's just a nice kind of swarmy card. Definitely. Awesome guy. I like it. Might even run in the Warlock deck. Who knows? You know who's not so awesome? Skaterbot. 1 mana, 1/1 magnetic Rush. Listen, Rush really isn't all that great. I'm sorry to break it to you. I mean, this is not, it's not cutting it these days. And you're gonna play a 1/1 thing with magnetic and you give something Rush? No, I don't think that's really cutting it. It's just not worth it. I'm sorry ahead of time for this, and feel free to just turn off the video as soon as you see this. But obligatory see you later bot. Okay. I'm sorry. We have the Toxicologist, a 2 mana 2/2 battle cry. Give your weapon +1 attack. I could see this being run in Rogue. Absolutely. Maybe, probably not as a replacement for Naga Course here, but just alongside it. I think that it's a cool card. I don't know if Kingsbane Rogue is going to come back. If it does, then this will be run, like I said. If not, then it's just going to kind of fall to the wayside. But I like this card. Definitely well designed, good stats. Everything seems good about it. Yeah, good job. The 2 mana 1/5 upgradable Framebot, which is a mech which is already upgraded. I mean, I guess maybe you could add an upgrade to this thing. Maybe you could just play Doomfist and, you know, do that. But aside from that, 2 mana 1/5. So it's statted to survive, which makes sense because you're gonna want to try to upgrade it. However, I don't think you're really gonna want to run this card in your deck. Really, you're gonna want to run mechs that you could run out on their own. And this thing, I mean, unless you're against specifically like a Zoo deck that only has a 1 attack, one health guys, which most Zoo decks, let me tell you, their minions can actually stick around a little while. I don't like this card so much. You can end up giving a taunt and buffing it, which is kind of cool with the Bronze Gatekeeper, but no, I don't like them. Hey, here's the Bronze Gatekeeper, 3 mana 1/5 magnetic taunt mech. So this is the kind of vanilla almost magnetic taunter. 6 mana worth of stats on a 1/3. Okay. Wow, what did I just say? 6 mana worth of stats on a 3 mana card. No. Let me try this one more time. 6 points of stats on a 3 mana card. If you add 1 and 5, you get 6. Holy crap, that was hard to say. I think this is greatly overshadowed by Ziliax, but this is a good one if you really want to give something taunt. Personally, though, I think the Giggling Inventor is going to be a lot better. It's a higher mana cost. I think at the lower mana cost, I would rather just run, geez, not Acidic Swamp Ooze. What the heck is that card? Tar Creeper! Hey, I would just rather run Tar Creeper at the same mana cost. So, there's what I think about that one. Electro Right. 3 mana 3/3 battle cry. If you're holding a spell that costs 5 or more, gain +1/+1. That's terrible. A 3 mana 3/4 isn't playable. A 3 mana 4/4 is barely playable. No. Get out of my face. 3 mana Kaboom Bot is a 2/2 mech. Death Rattle, deal 4 damage to a random enemy minion. If it could be a random enemy, including your opponent's face, I can see that seeing play. But this, I kind of think of it like a slightly bigger volatile elemental, which was the death rattle, deal 3 damage to a random enemy minion, which didn't really see too much play. It saw a little bit, it still might see a little bit, but it's not the star of the show, it's not accomplishing too much. I don't think this thing's going to get too far. We have a 3-mana 2/1 Spring Rocket. It's a mech. Battlecry, deal 2 damage. Very straightforward there. Well, how do we like it? Well, 3-mana 2/1 is atrocious. 3-mana 2/1 deal 2 damage. That's not as bad as I thought it was. Yesterday, I'll say, because I was kind of thinking about it a little bit as I continue to slouch in my chair. I'm like, I'm sleepy. But anyhow. So, alone, it's really not a terrible card. I could even see this potentially being... No, I was going to say something stupid. I was going to say Mech Hunter because deal 2 damage to their face. There's 3 mana cost cards that are much better, especially in Hunter. So for that kind of reason, I don't see this seeing any play at all. If it sees any play, it's going to be in like some kind of face deck where you just play it and go face, go face, go face, and hope that this thing survives and magnetize and keep going face. But I don't think it's going to get there. Hey, the 2-mana 2/1 Whirliglider. Okay, that was a little difficult. Look at that! Oh my god, so happy. Battlecry, summon a 0/2 Goblin Bomb. I could see this seeing some play in the Hunter deck that I want to put together. 2-mana 2/1. So over here, 3-mana 2/1, deal 2 damage. Bad. 2-mana 2/1, spawn a dude that will probably deal 2 damage in the future. I like it. I think that's like the breakpoint there, I guess. I like this card. I don't know how many exactly, because there's another one that spawns Goblin Bombs that I don't think you would run 2 of each one, because alone their stats are kind of lackluster. But I think this is definitely worth considering. 3-mana Brainstormer. Battlecry, gain +1 health for each spell in your hand. 3/1. This is the starting stat line. That's really bad. What happened? Like, okay, so you're getting a 1-mana reduction on Twilight Drake, but you're getting 1 less attack, and you're probably getting a whole lot of less health. No, this is terrible. Jeez. 4-mana Coppertail Imposter. It's a 4/4 mech. Battlecry, gain stealth until your next turn. So the stealth only lasts for 1 turn. However, it's worth noting that it's a mech. This is really your like go-to if you really need to have something to get magnetized. You throw the magnetizing thing on this one. But think about it this way: does oh geez, what's that one called? Stranglethorn Tiger. Does that see any play? It's a beast that you can keep on the board. You can definitely hit it with the Houndmaster next turn, or you can use Kill Command. It triggers any beast things, and that sees 0 play. So for that reason, I think that this is going to see, similarly, 0 play. Ah, the Explodinator. Oddly enough, in some other language, this actually has the exact same name as the Demolisher. They translated it the same way, so we'll see how that goes. But it's a 4-mana 3/2 mech. Battlecry, summon 2 0/2 Goblin Bombs. I think I might prefer this one over the Whirliglider, but I'm not 100% on that one yet. Maybe the Whirliglider is just better because it costs 2 less. I like this card. I'm not sure, like I said, which one is the better one, but I like the Goblin Bombs, you know. So I'm definitely considering this card going in a deck. I could see this getting somewhere, especially because this is a mech as well. So that's probably why it's costed higher for a 4-mana 3/2, where 3/2 is usually on a 2-mana creature. So it's expensive, but I could see it working out. Further on the way, we have 4-mana Piloted Reaper. Death Rattle, summon a random minion from your hand that costs 2 or less. It's a 4/3, same as Piloted Shredder back then, and it's a mech, same thing there. But you summon a random minion from your hand that costs 2 or less, not something random from the ether. And so for that specific reason, I'm not a big fan of it. So this was used to maintain boards, and it was particularly useful because it didn't use up anything from your hand. Not this, but the Piloted Shredder. You got a random thing from who knows where. Sometimes it had really good stats, sometimes you got a Doomsayer, but it was always pretty good. The fact that this thing pulls it from your hand means you're losing resources, and I think that's the breakpoint for this thing to be bad. Also, the 4-mana 4/3 stat line is bad. On a fact that isn't getting you a lot of value immediately, like a Kirin Tor Mage. A 4 mana 4/3 is bad. What about a 4 mana 5/1 rush? Alright, so the Rager memes continue. The Rager memes continue. Steel Rager. 4 mana 5/1 rush mech. What the heck are you doing? Even if you're trying to use this just to buff something for 5 attack, I would rather run the Warframe than this thing. This is god awful. I don't the War Gear I think is what it's called actually. I don't really need to tell anyone that this is terrible. All the Ragers are jokes. This is no different. Alright, we have the Rusty Recycler, a 5 mana, 2/6 taunt and lifesteal mech. So this is interesting. I don't think this is great. It's costed kind of high, so if you're gonna magnetize something to it, well, you better hope it survives. And with taunt, it's not really guaranteed to survive. It's more likely to die and protect your face. But there are better neutral taunts out there, so I don't really like this card. Not a fan. It's okay if you discover it every now and then. The same way, like, you know, other random taunts, you know, Mogashan Warden, sometimes you want to discover that thing. But otherwise, no. Hey, there's the War Gear, 5 mana 5/5 magnetic mech. So 5 mana 5/5 does not pass the vanilla test of like a 4 mana 5/5 or 5 mana you would want like a 5/6. However, it's a mech. I wonder if they're ever going to have magnetic cards that aren't mechs to begin with. That would be interesting. It would kind of weaken them a little bit so they can give them better effects, but I digress. It is a mech and it has magnetic. So you can almost consider this as, well, what if you had Blessing of Kings? What if that said, give it friendly minions +4/+4, or summon a 4/4? Yeah, I think that would see some more play. Well, this is pretty much the same thing. I think this card is going to see a decent amount of play. I don't know what the mech package is necessarily, because, you know, sometimes they're just little packets where, you know, there's elemental packages involving Servant of Kalimos, and there's the Stoneheld Defender, I believe is the one, where it gains Divine Shield and Taunt. You know, there's little packets of cards where you throw a few of these in there. Okay, cool. That helps out. And you have that going for you. But as far as the mech package, I'm not sure, but if there is a mech package, this is part of it. I'm telling you. Really nice guy. Super sturdy. Well, not super sturdy at 5/5, but you're not losing too much tempo if you just play him. I like him. I don't like the damaged Stegatron. 6 mana, 5/12 mech taunt. Well, if you just leave it at that and just, you know, cover up this part here, don't look at that, then you're good. Unfortunately, that part's still there. Which has Battle Cry, deals 6 damage to this minion. So you're paying 6 mana for a 5/6 taunt. That is bad. That is not good. Sure, you can heal it if you're in Priest. You can use Ancestral Spirit, I believe it is, or Ancestral Healing, whichever one it is in Shaman, to instantly bring it back to that full 5/12 and give it double taunt. Double taunt! Whoa! But otherwise, no. Even in those scenarios, I think it's weak. I don't like this card at all. Hey, the Bulldozer! Look at that. It's funny because it's a bull and it's dozing. And luckily it's 9 mana, which means I'm getting towards the end of these things. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, I'm super tired. Trust me. Trust me when I say I'm super tired. 9 mana, 9/7. Divine Shield Mech. So this reminds me of the Force Tank Max, which is basically the modern version of it. It should, instead of being like a 7 mana, I think it was 7/7 Divine Shield, or maybe it was a little extra. I think it was like 7 or 8. This is the 9 mana, 9/7. Can go in a Starliner deck, because it can maybe survive a little bit, and you can pull this with the Psych Melon if you're running it in Druid. But other than that, it's kind of cool, and hey, if you discover it from something, you could play it. I think that's the only reason it's going to be in your hands if you discover it, though. Alright, we have a 2 mana. Cloak Skill. Is this going by alphabet? Is this going alphabetically? No. Okay, whatever. Just some kind of random order. 2 mana Cloak Scale Chemist. Probably like in reveal order, maybe. The 2 mana 1/2 Stealth Divine Shield. So Silent Knight was a 3 mana 2/2 Stealth Divine Shield that saw basically no play. I think I saw play for maybe a day or two, and then people decided, no, it's really not good. So this guy is terrible. Enough said. Going on. 3 mana Microtech Controller. 2/1 Battlecry, summon 2 1/1 Microbots. Well, if you think about it like this, okay, so it's a 3 mana 4/3, which on its own isn't really good. So, I mean, it's okay. It's statted slightly aggressively, but it's not really good. Um, and let alone, all these things have 1 health, which is super easy to clear. So any AoE kills all of these guys. Terrible. Get him out of here. Get her out of here, I guess. Out of my sights. They have the Galvanizer. A 2-mana 1/2 mech. Battlecry, reduce the cost of mechs in your hand by 1. So originally, I thought the Fire Plume dude that reduced the cost of all elementals in your hand by 1 was going to be awesome, staple in every elemental deck. Turns out I was wrong. It's not. I could have kept it to myself because I never posted any kind of review before that. Before now. But, now you know. So, yeah, because of that specifically, I think this guy is not going to be so good. Now, he is a mech, which means you could magnetize things to it. So it does have that value going for it, but it's a 2-mana 1/2. So, unless some crazy big combo comes out, which I don't think will happen with mechs, exactly, then I don't see this seeing much play. Spark Engine, oh geez, 2-mana 2/1, bad for the stats. Battlecry, you get the little spark thing to your hand, doesn't even put it into play, and the sparks are bad elementals, so no, don't like it. Unpowered Mauler, 2-mana 2/4 mech, can only attack if you cast a spell this turn. Geez, the Silithid Swarmer saw absolutely 0 play, and that was easier to trigger than this thing, and it had better stats for it. So this atrocious card, get out of here. 5-mana 2/1 Giggling Inventor, Battlecry, summon 2 1/2 mechs with Taunt and Divine Shield. Wow. You ever just open your mouth and then that comes out? I like this card. It summons 2, as you can see, Annoyatrons. I guess this is like maybe the creator of the Annoyatrons? Who knows? I think this is great. And I'm going to make a little bit of a bold claim here. I think this is on a similar level, maybe a few stats under, I don't know, as the Sludge Belcher from the days of old. I think this is a great card. I would put this in a Control Druid, any kind of Malagos Druid. I would put it in a Control Warrior, and you have the mechs there, so you could magnetize that stuff to it. I would consider putting that in a Control Warlock, but I think Warlock might have enough control as they are. I mean, they have Lord Godfrey and plenty of other things than Defile, so that's nice. But I think having the 2 Annoyatrons pop out of this thing is just such good stall, and just such good value in that. The attacks that it can block and the things. Yeah, there's definitely ways around it. You could definitely make short work of this thing and, not get your full value out of it. But on average, I think this is going to be a great card. Moving on, 4-mana Replicating Menace. It's a 3/1. It's a Magnetic Mech Death Rattle, summon 3 1/1 Microbots. Well, the good thing is statted to die, because it has that Death Rattle. Unfortunately, the Death Rattle isn't even all that great. You summon 3 1/1s. If you're playing Dr. Boom Mad Genius, then you could, obviously this thing has Rush, if you've already played them. So you're rushing to something, then you have 3 more dudes that can also rush into something. Otherwise, I don't like this card. I mean, it's kind of cool how you see, they're like replicated right there. There's the 3 of them. But outside of that, no. What are you going to put this Death Rattle onto anyway? I mean, you could just 4 mana, give it +3 attack. Not great. So, no. Geez, 6 mana, Arcane Dynamo. Out of nowhere, suddenly we have weird storm jellyfish from who knows where, the Nether, I guess. It's a 6 mana 3/4. Battlecry, discover a spell that costs 5 or more. So you're already going to be well, obviously you don't always have to discover a 5 mana cost spell or a 6 mana cost spell. So you could curve out with this into a 7, 8, 9, or 10, depending on what's going on there. And you're saying, whoa, I can discover another Ultimate Infestation if I'm in Druid. Buddy, there's so many better ways to get Ultimate Infestation. There's enough card draw and ramp combined in Druid. You don't have to run this piece of garbage. Oh my goodness, 6 mana 3/4, you lose the game. Discover a spell that costs 5 or more. You can't even play it the same turn, because unless you have some sort of reductions going on here. Last I checked, 6, and you find a 5 mana spell, that's 11. You would need the coin, or you're not going to do it. Alright, 6 mana. Mechanical Whelp. It's a 2/2 with Death Rattle. Summon a 7/7 Mechanical Dragon. And here's the Mechanical Dragon. Looks kind of cool. Kind of like a toxic, rusty, kind of grungy look. I like it. But with the Mechanical Whelp, would you play a 6 mana 2/2? Never in a million years. Would you play a 6 mana 7/7? Yeah, I think I would. So somewhere in between. It's expensive to play, and then if you want to try to cheat the Death Rattle a little bit, it's still kind of tough to get going. I I can't really see this being run in Paladin with Spikered Steed, though. It's nice. The Spikered Steed is so nice on its own. I don't want to like have that kind of carry. Like, well, if you Spikered Steed anything, it's pretty good when you think about it like that. So I know some people like this. You can magnetize it and give it taunt to make it a little scarier, and it is a way to get a stickier mech. But I don't think it's worth the trouble here. 6 mana Missile Launcher, magnetic, 4/4. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to all other characters, including faces, and of course it's a mech. Well, this thing, if you put this thing together with Plague Scientist, or there's the there's the Poisonous mech in Hunter. That's pretty cheap. This is going to be an entire board wipe except for this thing, because it deals damage to all other characters. It's going to wipe the entire board except for itself every turn, provided, you know, nothing has like Divine Shield or Death Rattle summon a dude. Now, how reliable is this thing isn't going to get removed otherwise? It's not very reliable, but for that reason alone, I think we could see some shenanigans coming out of this. Aside from that very specific purpose, though, I don't think it's going to see any play. So it's only going to see oh my, it's only going to see play if I can talk. It's only going to see play any other Rogue with the Plague Scientist, which is a very narrow combo, or in Hunter. As long as you can give this thing Poisonous, you're good. Otherwise, no. Alright, we have the 6 mana Spark Drill. It's a 5/1. 6 mana for a 5/1. It has Rush, okay. Add 2/1 Sparks with the rest of your hand. I hate the Sparks, and I hate the stat line, and I hate this card. We have the 1 mana Crystallizer. It is a 1/3. Battlecry, deal 5 damage to your hero, gain 5 armor. So the 2 uses that I could see this being relevant in is Warrior, just because sometimes you prefer to have armor if you're going to shield slam. I mean, 1 mana gain 5 armor. Of course, you know, the healing and that cancel out. Notably, if you have 5 or less health, the armor will not stop you from dying. You will die. You need to play this when you have at least 6 health. But, you know, in Warrior, I could see that being played. Hey, look at that, you're done. Hey, buddy. And also in Warlock, you could play this to trigger your Nether Soul Busters, and also your Spellstones. So, and it's statted pretty well, 1 mana, 1/3. I could see this more so in Warlock than Warrior. And it's a consideration, most definitely. You might want one or two of these, in fact, just because it's like free upgrade your Spellstone and free Nether Soul Buster boost. So yeah, this is going in the Zulak. Augmented Elec is a 3 mana 3/4 beast. Whenever you shuffle a card into your deck, shuffle in an extra copy. This is such a weird card. I don't really know how to evaluate this thing. At least they stuck to like a 3 mana 3/4 plus an effect. And as a beast, so there's some value to that there. The mana cost is good for what it's doing, but what the heck is it doing? Are you gonna Dire Frenzy and then get 6 of whatever beast into your deck instead of 3? Okay. Are you gonna Benedictus somebody and get twice the remaining deck into yours and definitely not Fatigue? Well, okay, that's another option. Are you gonna play it with Dr. Morrigan and shuffle 2 Morrigans into your deck instead of the 1 and get twice the bad cards? I don't like it. Of course, you can also use this in Rogue with the Lab Recruiter to get twice the Lab Recruitment, but I don't think that's necessary at all, so I don't like it. 4 mana, 2/6 Omega Defender. It has Taunt. 4 mana, 2/6 Taunt is reasonable. It's acceptable, I think. Battlecry, if you have 10 mana crystals, gain +10 attack, is completely unnecessary. So, and it has Taunt. Of course you're going to want to kill it. That has 10 attack. You're going to need to kill it. But for 4 mana, are you going to hold on to this thing until you get to 10 mana just to give it a bunch of attack? How many times did you see Ancient of War get played uprooted with the +5 attack? So it was a 10/5. I've seen it once or twice maybe, just when the person already had the game on lockdown. It was either like a BM or just like, we'll see what happens, why not? For that reason, I don't like Omega Defender. Plus, you're swapping over from very defensive stats, anti-aggro, to suddenly, I'm going to punch you in the face for a 10, I hope. No, you're not. Alright, we have the 4 mana Weaponized Pinata. It's a 4/3. It's a mech with Death Rattle. Add a random legendary minion to your hand. Unfortunately, like I mentioned with the... what the heck is that card? I want to move it out of my memory. But with the Stormbringer, Random legendaries are not so good. At least it's in your hand. It doesn't transform minion into one. But I don't like this card. It's close. It's almost there. If it was like a 3-mana 4/3 do that, then okay, I could see it seeing some play. Arthas is more reliably getting you a better card than this thing, I believe. We have the 5-mana EMP Operative. It's a 3/3 battle cry. Destroy a mech. And all the Beryllium Nullifier fans just kind of shudder a little bit. Oh no, that can do the unthinkable. So this is in a unique spot where if mechs are very, very prevalent, then this is going to be in decks. Quite a few of them. And if this isn't a lot of decks, then mechs might kind of tone back a little bit. And if mechs tone back a little bit, then this isn't going to be in the decks. You see that cycle for very specific cards for removal. So it is what it is. 5-mana 3/3 hurts a lot. They could have made it a 5-mana 4/4 and still been okay, I feel. But they didn't. Or at least a 5-mana 3/4. Jeez. But aside from that, destroy a mech. There are quite a few mechs here. It gets through the Beryllium Nullifier thing. I think that people might just run one of this thing because there are going to be probably a few targets. Probably a few decent targets nearly no matter what deck you're playing against. 5-mana 3/3 Holomancer. After your opponent plays a minion, summon a 1/1 copy of it. Unless their board is empty, this is probably going to get no effect at all. And if their board is empty and your big play is summon a 5-mana 3/3, you have problems. This card is atrocious. They can even try to play you with it, like with playing a Doomsayer. But I don't think if you're playing this thing, I don't think they're worried about your board at all. Because I clearly don't think you're in it for the tempo. Alrighty. Let's keep on going. 5-mana 5/5 Seaphorium Bomber. Battlecry, shuffle a bomb into your opponent's deck when drawn and explodes for 5 damage. So very reminiscent of the... what's that card called? The Iron Dude that does the things. I didn't even write it down. Oh no. But, the Juggernaut. Iron Juggernaut? Is that what it's called? Whatever it is. You know what I'm calling it. The Warrior Legendary from way back that shuffled an explosive mine, and when your opponent drew it, it did 10 damage. So this deals 5. It's a 5-mana 5/5 that, in most cases, we can say, maybe not most cases, but in quite a few cases, it's going to be 5-mana 5/5, do nothing. Just confuse your opponent for a little bit. Maybe if they're running some sort of like Dragon's Fury, is it called Dragon's Breath or Dragon's Fury? I forget the one. You could disrupt their spell doing damage. Otherwise, no, this is bad. 5-mana Loose Specimen is a 6/6 beast. Battlecry, deal 6 damage randomly split among all other friendly minions. Well, unless you have nothing else on your board, or what would you do? Could you play this with like the Gunspire? It's interesting. You could try. I don't think it would see a whole lot of benefit. I think both cards are kind of expensive, so I don't think you really play them reliably in the same turn. The other thing that you could do it with is Acolyte of Pain, but I think that's way too much. You're trying too hard. What about a 5-mana 6/6? I wouldn't run it if it required you to have an empty board to get the full value. So no, I don't like this card. Hey, Starliner, you're a funny guy. So 7-mana 7/7. Oh, that reminds me of a certain someone, but I can't seem to recall who. But different effect anyway. Battlecry. If you control 3 minions with 7 health, deal 7 damage to all enemies, which includes your opponents. So you only need to have 2 minions with 7 health when you play this thing, because it will count itself. But geez, that's not easy. Now, at least it's 7 health and not 7 attack, so a few things you can use, like I said, are the Psych Melon to search this card out if you really want to do this. Along with, let's see, you can get Doom Guards, but it's not reliable because that was my first thought, but you discard things. So maybe you're running Skull of the Minari to get the Doom Guards out there, and then maybe you cut this thing for a regular, Q block. What else can we do with the Star Aligner? So you can use Injured Blade Masters, because they have 7 health, and Circle of Healing. It's really the only other way I see of cheating this out, in some sort of reasonably decent, acceptable fashion that doesn't involve just playing big dudes. Because if you're just playing big dudes and 2 of them stick to the board, you're probably going to win without playing the Star Aligner to do the extra damage. The only way this is actually going to be super beneficial is if you have weaker minions, or if you're able to cheat the effect somehow. And I don't think that's really going to happen. I am not all about that Starliner deck, but I think it's going to be kind of funny. Hey, we're in the legendaries. Okay. Oh, boy, almost there. 4 mana. Whizbang the Wonderful is a 4/5. Not that it really matters. You start the game with one of Whizbang's wonderful decks. So notably, you can evolve or transform something, into this. If this is generated randomly, at least it's a 4 mana 4/5. And Blizzard got that right. They're gonna put that out there that would have no effect, because so many cards that have bad effects have like even worse stats. So the way this works, you pick whatever class you want to. It really doesn't matter. When you're in deck construction, you click on Whizbang the Wonderful. Your deck goes from, instead of 0 out of 30 or 1 out of 30 to 1 out of 1. That's it. You can complete the deck with only one thing in there. It changes the hero selected to Whizbang. You're playing Whizbang, basically. And it automatically renames the deck to Whizbang is Wonderful. I don't know if you can rename it afterwards. I imagine you can, but why would you want to? It's such a beautiful thing. And the wonderful decks are... Sorry about that. Are the the deck recipes that are available to you that Blizzard provided for each class. There are usually 3. The first one is usually a classic set, is the classic set, and the other 2 are different versions of cards that you can put together using the standard sets, not optimized for whatever they're doing, or sometimes just the plan for the deck to win really isn't the best plan, but they're worth trying, and you can play with cards outside of your collection. It's a fun card. Trump theorized based on the odds of how good some of the decks are and the RNG that you could get, that you could potentially take the single Whizbang deck to Legend. It's certainly a challenge. We'll see if he does it. I'm hoping that he tries, because that'll be interesting. But otherwise, it's kind of funny. I could see like maybe a new person wanting to craft that to have access to more cards. But beyond that, no thank you. Okay, we have Harbinger Celestia. It's a 4 mana 5/6 with stealth. After your opponent plays a minion, become a copy of it. Well, I really hope your opponent doesn't play a minion. Because then you get a 4 mana 5/6 stealth, which is fantastic. Oh my goodness, the stats. For once, the stats are amazing. But if your opponent plays a little dude, it's a little dude. And it's just so easy for them to play around it. Like, it's not even... I don't know how you would really make them not be able to play around this card. How would you hurt them for playing minions? I don't know how this interacts with explosive runes. I imagine you would copy this thing and then the runes would kill the dude, so at least you get a thing, but it's so easy to play around. Even combo decks and control decks usually run some little dudes that they don't mind throwing out there just to get them to the later game, to the mid to late game. So I'm not seeing Celestia doing too much. Ooh, Subject 9. Hello there. 5 mana 4/4 beast. Well, that's bad stats and such, but let's see. Battle Cry. Draw 5 different secrets from your deck. That's a lot of secrets. And you're getting them all from your deck. Not Mysterious Challenger type, status, but it is a very nice card. I don't see this being run so much in Paladin, because they have 1 mana secrets, so the value is slightly decreased, even though it would still be a great value. But they already had Bellringer Sentry, and that saw no play, and that actually I thought was a pretty good card for what it did, so that's kind of sad. I don't think you're going to run this in Mage, or Rogue for that matter, because Mages have their own ways to do that, They have a little 2 mana 2/3 Arcanologist, so they're doing okay. You will use this specifically in Hunter, especially because it's a beast, and probably more so in Spell Hunter. Obviously it's a creature, so you're not going to run it there, but any kind of heavy Spellstone. Well, let's just call it Spellstone Hunter. You're running the Spellstone, you're going to use that to pull the secrets out of your deck, so you can trigger your Spellstones, and also not draw their secrets later. I think that's just really nice. They have to be different, so you're probably only going to get 3 if you're running, Freezing, Explosive, and Wandering Monster, or maybe only 2, but it's still a nice card. I like it. We have Ziliax! Hey, this is the big mech that everyone's worried about. The 5 mana 3/2 Magnetic Divine Shield Taunt Lifesteal Rush, which is statted so much, not statted, but is designed better than Alakir for survival, which is nice. Obviously, Alakir has Charge and Wind Fury, so that's more geared towards aggression. This is geared towards keeping you alive. With the Divine Shield Lifesteal, and Taunt, you're probably going to get some health off this, and with the rush, you can either put it on a big guy, put it on another mech, and make it a bigger guy, and heal for more, or just play it by itself. It's not great when you do that, but at least you're going to stall out something. You're going to get some more time. And maybe you throw some other magnetic dude on top of this thing, and then ta-da! So Ziliax, nice card. I could see it definitely in like Control Warrior that uses some mechs, or just any kind of mech deck I think would run this. Literally any mech deck. Doesn't even have to be a slow one. Oh my, and this is the last. And is it the least? No, it's not the least, but oh god. The Mech-Cthulhu, 10 mana, 10/10. Death Rattle. If you have no cards in your deck, hand, and battlefield, destroy the enemy hero. And it's a mech. So how do you get this thing to work? Oh my goodness. So the easiest ways to do this, or what theoretically is the best way to do it, either involves a rogue with Myra's Unstable Element. There goes your deck. Okay, cool. And then you find some way to kill it. Maybe just like assassinate it or something. Something silly. And that would of course have to be your last card. Beyond that, what else can you do? You can play it in... Pardon me there. You can play it in Warlock and try to just use that with like a Cataclysm to dump your hand, as well as clearing the board, and you would have had to draw your entire deck that time. It's nice that, you know, it's a Death Rattle effect, kind of. So if your opponent doesn't kill this because for some reason you fulfilled the requirements for this thing, it's like the last card, that if they don't kill it, well, it's a 10/10. So if they don't kill it, it's going to die anyway. You're just going to punch him in the face a couple times. But otherwise, the last remaining class that I think can potentially get this thing to go off would be Druid. Mainly because of, not necessarily Twig, although it does help, because they have a lot of card draw. They cycle through the decks pretty quickly. In a Druid deck that was doing this, I think you would only want to run a single Ultimate Infestation. As good as that card is, you cannot, like, plenty of times you have 2 Ultimate Infestations in your hand. You play one of them, and then the second one you can't really play because it'll go into such deep fatigue you can't do it. But it's okay, you leave it in your hand and you win the game anyway. Hey, look at that. But aside from that, there's really not too much that you can do. You can, of course, naturalize this. You can play it with Libidinous Floop, and that could be a thing. I can definitely see that going on, especially it's easier to kill a 3/4 minion than a 10/10 minion. We'll have to see. I don't think this is going to be a great thing. I like the idea behind the card. It's kind of just randomly thrown in there, but it's just kind of silly. But wait, before I go, this tab has been here for a little while. This is just test subject thingy. But what's this one over here? That's been here for the last couple of times where I had to, switch out to full screen. This, my friends, is the ultimate Mech-Cthulhu combo. If you had doubts, here we go. Let me move my face out of the way here. Alrighty, here we go. You could see through the followers, I think. Alright, step 1. You have to set up your hand this way. You have to have Azari in your hand through the whole thing of getting, Rin the First Disciple and playing all the seals. Azari's in your hand. Okay, cool. You have Emperor Thorson and Drakari Enchanter. Reduce the cost of Howl Fiend, 2 Treacheries, Defile, Bloodbloom, and Mech-Cthulhu, and then get a bonus reduction from Galvanizer. So Mech-Cthulhu costs 7. Or if this thing survives a turn, then that solves a lot of your problems. Okay. That's step 1. Step 2. You destroy your opponent's deck with Azari. I like it. Okay, this is cool. Step 3. You discard your opponent's hand. Okay. I think I'm missing a card here, actually. You discard your opponent's hand with Howl Fiend, Treachery, Defile. Step 4. You give your opponent Mech-Cthulhu. Sure. Step 5. You destroy Mech-Cthulhu with Bloodbloom into Cataclysm, and you instantly lose the game. Great success. I think they didn't even put Cataclysm in the start thing. Oh, wow. Yep, this is super duper completed. Whatever. I still like it so much though. It's just hilarious. I thought the first time I saw this, I was like, okay, okay, okay. Oh, and then you die. Okay. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave this big hunk of eyes and metal on right here. So let's see. Thank you very much. That is the final thing. I will be posting the top 10 with honorable mentions list pretty soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for bearing with me through all these things. It's been quite a long video. I appreciate all the support there. Feel free to follow me on Twitch. I'm going to put links below. Hopefully it's been below each of these videos. And watch me again for the pack opening stream. I'm going to be opening over 150 packs of this darn set. And we'll see how that goes. And yeah, thank you again. Good night and maybe good morning, depending on what time zone you are. But either way, good luck.